So, learning is very complex and it's certainly influenced by a ton of different factors. And that includes those individual learning styles as well as cultural backgrounds. So, understanding how the cultural factors shape learning styles is really essential for learners and for educators. So, learning styles refers to that preferred way in which individuals are going to absorb, process, and really retain information. And as you may already know, there are so many different kinds of models and theories out there, but they usually fall into categories that are going to really help you to understand the visual, auditory, or really some kinesthetic learners. But no matter which model or theory you take, culture is really going to impact the way in which a person is going to learn. So let's look at the role of cultural factors in learning styles. So you're going to have cultural values and beliefs. Different cultures are going to emphasize various different values that influence the learning preferences. For instance, some cultures may prioritize group harmony and collaboration. So that's going to have a preference for collaborative or cooperative learning. So anything competitive wouldn't really work well in trying to teach people with those kinds of preference. So pay attention to the cultures in your classroom and with your learners and learn what it is that they believe about their values. Next, your communication styles. So think about how a different communication style really might impact how your learners are going to impact. So, for instance, if you have direct communication or a culture that really values direct communication, they're going to encourage open discussions and assertiveness. They're really going to be able to take care of and really quickly address issues. But if they have an indirect communication that's more subtle, then that means they're going to be looking at more nonverbal cues. Your learning environments are really going to impact those cultural backgrounds as well. Like, for instance, you may prefer a formal education setting. So, look at some of your cultures. If some of them prefer more formal educational settings, more traditional, like a classroom with a book or a lecture, versus more experiential learning. Also, they are going to have a cultural reference or relevance of content. So, this is going to impact their engagement and their understanding. This is when learners are going to see themselves reflected in the curriculum and see how their culture experiences connect them to the material. And if they have that, then they're going to be more likely to be motivated and actively participate in their learning. Next, you have parental involvement and expectations. So, cultural factors also are going to influence the parental involvement in education and the expectations that parents have for their children. So, in some cultures, the active participation in school events and communications with teachers is very common. They're very hands on. While in other cultures, maybe parents are going to take more of a hands off approach and they'll trust the educators to simply take care of their child's learning and growth. Understanding how cultural factors influences learning styles is going to help educators to create more inclusive and effective learning environments. So really honestly, take some time to sit down and ponder what other cultural influences you may see. If you have a patriarchal society, how would that affect your learning and your development of your students versus a matriarchal society? Take some other ideas and ponder and see what it is that may really be affecting you, and then also embrace these cultural diversity so that way you can strengthen the engagement, foster equity, and enhance that overall learning experience.